What's up, folks? Welcome to the Nerd Report. Looks like there's more updates from the Cybertruck explosion situation in Vegas on the 1st. So let's see what this press conference is about. And then we have another press conference from Washington getting ready for June the 6th.
As long as I can press the button, it's all good.
Let me know as you all get notified.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I steal it from them. Yeah, it's because the
What?
When you guys put on YouTube, sometimes that's why because it doesn't hop like the head come out.
Yeah.
What's up, Ann? How you doing?
I did yesterday up here, but I can't see it.
We're waiting for this presser to come in as people trickle in. Let me just start that now so you guys don't get bored. Let me know what country, city, or state you are watching from. I'm going to start the press conference. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 24 hours in regards to the Las Vegas incident. A manifesto's out, and it mentions drones. So drones are back in the news, folks. Well, I'll get to the bottom of that and report on it. But yes, a lot of conspiracy theories here with this guy. And I don't know if he went cuckoo or what, but very, very crazy. Did you all get notified? Let me know in the comments. Everyone got notified. What's up, Ann? Yeah. It's important to me for you all to keep the conversation going. So as we watch this press conference, whatever opinions you have, feel free to talk about them in the comments. No problem. Yeah, you got to turn on the notification thing, Nova, and you'll be good. Tammy got notified. Who was here yesterday for our coverage? Let me know in the comments. As we wait here, feel free to hit that like button, folks. All right, everybody got notified. What do you mean? The guy was still alive? Some are saying the guy is still alive? I doubt it. I doubt it. What do you guys think? I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that one. All right, here we go, folks. Feel free to comment. Let me know if you can hear them. Could you hear this? The sheriff. Let's see if he's hyper.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Over the last couple of days, since the bombing and death of the individual inside of the Tesla at Trump Towers, had a number of priorities that we've been trying to accomplish over those days. The first one of those priorities was to confirm that there's no further threat. I think we've completed that. The second was to positively identify the suspect. We've also done that today. I can confirm that that is Matthew Livelsberger. We also wanted to confirm that there were no other actors involved in this incident. I believe we've done that. You'll hear much more about that as we move forward today.
Okay.
We've also today, I'm going to be able to share with you some of what we believe to be his plans and motives as to why he conducted this attack. Now, before we go on, I want to just address a couple of things before we get too far along here. I want you to know that we're very well aware of a podcast that is going around today and the contents of the letter in that podcast. And I just want you to understand that since we've been conducting these press conferences, I have only given you information that we have verified and deemed to be factually accurate.
Who's seen that?
We've been aware of that document for a while now, and we still have not completely gone all the way through that and verified that entirely. We are in one of the two telephones and one laptop. So one telephone and one laptop that we still have not been able to get into. There is one cell phone that we are getting into, and I can tell you that we are barely scratching the surface and almost hourly receiving additional information requiring substantial investigative effort on the part of this joint investigation between ourselves, the FBI, and the ATF. And so, again, while I understand all of that is out there, I believe it is our responsibility to give you what we know to be a fact, and that is what I will continue to do as we move forward. A couple of questions came up in regards to the positive identification of the suspect in the vehicle. I want to give you a couple of photographs as to what it was that we had some conversation around, because there's some tattoo comparisons that we needed to do. And in those tattoo comparisons, in this particular photograph, you can see a tiger tattoo, and there's a secondary tattoo on the stomach that the wife had told us about. You can see that some of it is burnt, some of it is not burnt, and while the body was still in the vehicle, we were unable to identify those specific tattoos until we were able to remove some of it. Secondarily to that, there's also a surveillance photograph that we obtained of our subject in Colorado wearing that very distinctive brown jacket. You'll see that a little bit later here in some of the photographs that one of the assistant sheriffs is going to talk to you about. There's also a lot of conversation that I hear out there about the fact that the identifications, the credit cards, and the number of things that I provided to you previously did not show up as burnt in the explosion in the vehicle. And so I did think it was important for me to address a couple of those issues so you understand where we're at. That's a photograph of the wallet. It's a leather wallet. Clearly it's burnt up pretty well. However, that wallet was found in the back seat under some debris in the vehicle, and it contained, you'll see in this photograph, the credit cards, so a photograph, and a number of other pieces of identifying information.
Drive a BMW.
The military identification that I initially told you about was also located within inches of the wallet. And you'll see much of this stuff does have some burn damage on it. The passport that I described to all of you was found in the back, in the bed of the truck under debris as well. And you'll see a photograph of that in there. I also had mentioned to you that we were going to be doing dental records to identify the subject in the vehicle. The Department of Defense provided those dental records to us. We then forwarded them to the coroner, and the coroner also provided a positive identification for us.
We're going to watch the entire presser, and then we're going to break it down. I'm going to give you my opinion, and I want to know what your opinions are. So if you came in the middle of it, don't worry. I will play it again for you all. So, and yeah, if you're on the vertical, make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 70,000 subscribers right now. I need 5 more subscribers. Please do me that favor right now. Thank you.
Finally, we had also requested DNA from the family, which was provided to us, and it matched to our suspect. We then, of course, had now confirmed fully his identity to you. There has been, again, a tremendous amount of investigative effort that has been conducted now, and I'm going to introduce to you Assistant Sheriff Dory Corin to go over some of the extensive investigation that has occurred. Dory?
These guys are on it, man.
Good afternoon. I'm Assistant Sheriff Dory Corin. I oversee our Homeland Security and Investigative Services group, which includes our counterterrorism unit that's been working around the clock on this investigation. I just want to briefly share a few updates on some key areas to include the operational activity that led up to this incident, a little bit of information on the post-blast investigation as we know it today, and then finally some of the information that we're discovering most recently about motives and plans to give you some insight on why this individual committed the act that he committed.
Listen to this. The motives are
to begin just with the operational activity. The sheriff yesterday talked about the route that suspect took to get to Las Vegas. We used a lot of this information to be able to track down video surveillance footage around different locations, as well as financial records, as well as call data records, as well as looking at the Tesla charging stations to be able to determine exactly which route the individual took, but more importantly, that it was the individual that we've identified, as well as the only individual in the vehicle during the path that he took to Las Vegas. As you'll see here in this video here at one of the charging stations, there's just one example. You'll see our suspect here. He'll exit the vehicle. He'll walk around the vehicle at different times. At one point, you're going to see that he opens the door of the vehicle. He retrieves a coat. He puts that coat on, and you're going to see that at different parts to include the photo that the sheriff talked about just a few minutes ago.
Dang, that's nuts. You guys watching this?
We use this video information as well as what I said earlier about the financial records in terms of purchases being made with different credit cards, call data records, a video canvas at multiple locations, trying to use all of that to corroborate that the individual that we've identified is the same individual that drove that Tesla during that route that we've identified to Las Vegas. In addition to that, we also talked about the phones that were recovered. There were 2 phones that we recovered from the vehicle.
That's crazy.
Both phones were damaged. We are still trying to access the data in one of the phones, but we have been fortunate in our team, which is second to none, has done a really good job accessing the data in one of the phones that was recovered. You can see the phone here in the vehicle. It's very burnt from the outside. You can see another image here. But we're able to take this phone and be able to extract the data using a variety of different tools. And in that, we've identified a variety of information. But one thing in particular is there was an application in there that the suspect used to take notes. In that application, one of the notes is titled Surveillance Log by the Suspect. It appears to be more of a journal of activity. It dates for about 10 days leading up to the incident, from December 21st to December 31st of this past year. In that surveillance log, or as we would like to call it, a journal, because it's more of a diary of activity that he's conducting, we identify multiple locations that match what we have in the route. We identify activity that we've matched. So, for example, him purchasing firearms, him purchasing camping equipment or other types of equipment that were used in this incident matched what our data showed in terms of the route and the video surveillance we were recovering along that route. Beyond the operational activity, I want to also get a little bit into the post-blast investigation. So make no mistake, this is a suicide vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, or short, it's a suicide VBID.
He wanted to take out other people though, man. And that's disgusting. That's even more disgusting than anything. And he messed up. He thought the entire vehicle was going to blow up.
We know also, as mentioned by the sheriff yesterday, there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound by the suspect. The coroner was very specific in their examination. It was an intraorbital gunshot wound, which essentially means that the suspect put the firearm in his mouth and discharged the gun, and ultimately the round came out to the left side of his head. In addition to that, in terms of our assessment of the post-blast to confirm that he's the only individual involved and the only individual in the vehicle, we did a variety of video and photo comparisons to match the clothing. So if you look here, for example, this is a video in Las Vegas, and you're going to see in a moment here where he parks the Tesla truck. He comes out, and you're going to see some descriptive clothing that matches some of the other video that we've recovered along the route. Please keep in mind, this is a very extensive investigation, so there's a lot of content for us to review and examine. We're just showing examples and samples as we get them. There's more information as we go through it.
There's apparently video of him when he did the deed to end them, but I'm not gonna play that. I'm not gonna show that, but apparently they're out there.
But in this video, you can see even the distinctive jacket that he is wearing in that vehicle. The other thing that's important is the sheriff mentioned yesterday that Tesla sent to us engineers to come to Las Vegas to help us extract data from the vehicle. Thanks to their support, we were able to extract an SDMI chip from the Tesla vehicle, and Tesla was able to confirm to us using the data from the vehicle that the vehicle was not in full self-driving mode. And
yeah, man, I appreciate your opinion, Ray, but Tesla's basically blame the car for it. Blame Tesla for it. That's I don't know. I can't agree with that. I think it's a driver. It's not. I don't think Tesla's alive
at any time during this incident. Finally, the last.
Are you saying Tesla should not have given the authorities the video of this guy? Folks, do you agree with that? I mean,
category just to touch on is motive, which I know everyone is very eager
Let me know
to
in the comments.
try to understand and be able to explain what happened. I'll reiterate what the sheriff said is we still have a large volume of data to go through and a lot of content to go through. As you know, with any one of our devices, there's thousands, if not millions, of videos and photos and documents and web history and all of those things that need to be analyzed.
I get it.
But with that,
Yeah.
just as a preview for as we get information, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. There were a couple pieces of content we thought were important to share for now. One is in the note application, he seemed to have two letters. One letter in particular, as
I misread your comment, Ray. Sorry about that.
you can see here, this is an excerpt from that letter. He says, fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves. He goes on to explain
Wait,
a variety, just as a preview
This is like Luigi's thing.
for as we get information, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. There were a couple pieces of content we thought were important to share for now. One is in the note application, he seemed to have two letters. One letter in particular, as you can see here, this is an excerpt from that letter. He says, fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves. He goes
Yeah, but the leadership just changed. I don't get this letter. Is this it sounds like Luigi.
on to explain a variety of other grievances and issues, some political, some personal, a variety of other things, which we will do our best to release very quickly here. But then there's a second letter where there's some more excerpts. This one seems to be dated after the fact in that notes application. And in there, you can read a couple of the excerpts. We are the United States of America, the best country, people to ever exist. But right now, we are terminally ill and headed towards collapse. This was not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call. Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence. What better way to get my point across than a stunt with fireworks and explosives? Why did I personally do it now? I need to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relieve myself of the burden of the lives I took. I'd like to just also expand on that and understand that these are just excerpts. In there, he does offer additional information that is varying on the spectrum in terms of political grievances, issues about the conflicts elsewhere, not here, domestic issues, societal issues, a variety of other things, including personal challenges as well. We are intending to release those initial letters so people can understand best they can what the person's thought process was at one point in time. However, please understand there is still a lot more content to go through, and that may change. There may be a lot more information that we recover that explains either more or shows a change in mindset at different times. Just before I turn it over to FBI Special Agent Spencer Evans, I just want to take a note and just mention what the sheriff said, which is our counterterrorism section and all of the people involved in this have been working around the clock 24/7, tirelessly, truly through the night. They are second to none, and we really appreciate everything they're doing. With that, turn it over to the FBI.
Real quick, folks, if you're new to the channel, this is Nerd Report. Go ahead and include your opinions in the comments. Very curious to see what everyone's saying. Keep the conversation going in the comments. Also, let us know what country, city, or state you are watching from right now in the comments. Press 1 if this is the first time on this channel. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Spencer Evans. I serve as the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. I'd like to express gratitude for everyone that's here today, and especially the partnerships that Sheriff Corrin just highlighted. It's been seamless collaboration between the FBI, ATF, Army, CID, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. You know, if you walked into one of the command posts and someone's not wearing a uniform, you wouldn't be able to tell who works for which agency. And it's been outstanding collaboration. We do have significant updates that we're sharing with you from an investigative standpoint, but just want to reiterate, as Sheriff Corrin mentioned, there is still a lot of ongoing investigation. We have terabytes of data that we have to analyze. We have outstanding search warrants and subpoenas, interviews that are being conducted around the globe as we try to paint a comprehensive picture of exactly what happened. That being said, we do feel confident that we have a much better sense of how we arrived at the events of the 1st of January and additional information that we can provide. So I'd like to first begin by addressing something that continues to be widely speculated, whether or not there was any connection between what happened in New Orleans on New Year's Day and then the incident here in Las Vegas just a few hours later.
I love that they're
just to be clear, there is no evidence that these two events are connected. The only things that we have connecting them are incidental, what we believe to be coincidental similarities, in that both vehicles were rented through the same service, that they were both subjects served in the military, that they both stayed at an Airbnb, things like that. We've identified no telephonic or email communication between the subjects, no information that suggests that they knew each other, that they ever served in the same unit, that they were ever assigned at the same place at the same time and had interaction, and no witness interviews have corroborated or provided any information that the two events are connected in any way. In similar fashion, we have not identified any connection between this subject and any other terrorist organization. During the FBI's international investigation to date, as I mentioned, we have interviewed family members, friends, the subject's associates, and military members that he served with around the globe. Through these interviews, we've found that the subject held no animosity towards the president-elect. That's something that's also been reported. Investigative steps have discovered, and information from the Army indicates, that he likely suffered from PTSD. And we are also aware that there were potential other family issues or personal grievances in his own life that may have been contributing factors. Again, we're looking into all of that. It's evident that the subject considered, planned, and thoughtfully prepared for this act alone. That's what we believe, and we have no information to the contrary at this point. The FBI has been able to confirm some of this through the utilization of video footage in public areas as he traveled from Denver to Las Vegas. We have video footage that shows that he is alone outside of the vehicle, and that corroborates again what Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department footage has also shown. The FBI, as the sheriff indicated, facilitated obtaining DNA from a family member that was able to be conclusively matched to confirm the subject's identity. As Sheriff Corrin mentioned, although this incident is more public and more sensational than usual, it ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who is struggling with PTSD and other issues. Yesterday, I wanted to...
How do they know that like so quick without like having the guy be, be evaluated personally? That's kind of weird, right?
highlight, I mentioned a tip that was unverified that the FBI had received. Sheriff McMahon will talk about this. It's now floating around there on podcasts. This is a tip that the FBI received after the bombing occurred that seemed to describe some of the personal grievances that the subject may have held. We still have not conclusively determined that that's from the subject, but feel confident based on evidence that we're uncovering on his devices that that was in fact from Livelsberger. I want to reiterate that, prior to this incident, the FBI did not have any information on this subject. He was not on our radar. He didn't have criminal history. There was nothing that we would have been looking into him for up until this point. Last thing I just wanted to highlight briefly is it's not lost on us. We understand that there were victims. While the subject himself was the only person that was deceased, there were several folks that were injured. And obviously, any sort of incident like this has a traumatic impact on the greater community and folks that are rightly so going to be scared and concerned, and some people that were inconvenienced and some that were taken to the hospital with injuries. We'd like to remind everyone that we're working with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department advocates, the Office of Emergency Services advocates, and the Southern Nevada Resiliency Justice Center to offer services to these victims. We recognize that there may be victims that are yet unidentified. So for those that might be suffering or otherwise impacted, we'd ask you to reach out to the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. And in similar fashion, as we reiterated yesterday, anyone who has tips related to the subject or this particular incident, please call us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Assistant Special Agent in Charge from the ATF, Kenny Cooper.
So far, these guys are very transparent. What do you all think of the Vegas's work here with the press conference? I think they're very open. They address things that they're addressing things that I hear you all in the chat ask about. Are they missing anything? And they're very quick with it, right? They're very, very quick with it, in my opinion. They're on the ball, right? What do you all think in the comments? Agree, disagree?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm an Assistant Special Agent with ATF San Francisco Field Division. I have some very quick resource updates. ATF has brought in some of our top experts from our national response team that will assist with the sifting through the debris of the Tesla. And that's an abundance of caution to make sure that we've got the initiation sequence identified as best we can from the evidence that survived the thermal event of this explosion, and to ensure that no other bad actors were involved in the initiation of that device.
Some people in this chat think they're lying. What do you guys think? Keep the conversation going.
Also, my second update is to the firearms purchased by our subject on December 30th, 2024. Our ATF investigators were able to track down that lawful purchase at a gun store in Colorado. Our subject arrived in that gun store by himself on December 27th and initiated the ATF Form 4473 and actually paid for those two firearms that were recovered from the Tesla on the 27th, and was sole occupant of a vehicle arriving and departing that on that date. And then on the 30th, we have video evidence of our subject entering that gun store as the sole occupant of the Tesla. He actually received and transferred those two firearms and took into his possession at that time, and departed as the sole occupant in the Tesla. Those are the two updates that I'm here to provide to you at this time. Thank you.
This sheriff's even losing weight, man. He looked chubbier 2 days ago, right?
All right, with that, we'll entertain a couple questions.
All
If
right,
you
here
could please
comes the
identify
question.
yourself, and we'll go from there. David?
David Charles, KLAS TV. Thanks for taking my question.
He is wired.
One, the video that you showed of him with the Tesla was able to extract that for you from the device, from the car. The video you showed him walking around and at the charging stations.
Yeah, so let me just, the question was, can we, the video that we show, sorry, I was standing back there, so I wasn't sure which one you were looking at, but the question is, the video that we showed at the Tesla charging stations, who provided that to us? I'll let Dory answer that.
The charging
Without
station.
getting too far into the technicalities, there are various components in there that were retrieved. The SDMI
By the way those videos that they showed earlier are shown, it doesn't look well. Maybe a few of them were from the video inside the charging station, but they look mostly like they were coming out of the car. Honestly, from the angle.
card. It was not where the video was retrieved from. That was where we got the data to be able to determine that it was not in self-driving mode. However, Tesla did provide and helped our team be able to recover the thumb drive that records other types of data to include video by the Tesla.
That thumb drive is right in the glove compartment.
In what state is this in?
In case someone hits you.
Kingman, Arizona.
Second question is about the detonation. There's a lot of questions. How was he able to die by suicide and set this off? Can you just in very basic terms explain how that could happen to kind of stop these conspiracies that he's not in?
Yeah, so the second question is how are we able to
Okay, he's addressing the conspiracies that he's not dead. People were asking about that in the comments.
explain the detonation versus the suicide? And we just believe it to be simultaneous at the time of the detonation. But again, that's why the ATF's bringing in the SABTs from outside to look at what that sequence was for the initiation of the explosion as well. And, you know, it's very difficult to see inside of those Teslas, even with the camera angles that we have. And so we still remain challenged on finding some of that exact timing on all of that. Go ahead.
Hi, Stephanie Price, Fox News.
Hi, Stephanie.
We're seeing reports that he had another alias as Matt Berg and went on a TV show in 2013.
What?
Are you guys going to confirm that?
So the question is if we knew of a alias of Matthew Berg and he had been previously on a television show. We've seen that reporting, but have not verified that reporting. Behind you.
That's Kevin Nimes with NBC News. How would you describe his state of mind in these final days, given everything that you read from his notes app and the manifesto that you've seen, that you referenced going around in the podcast? Have you guys been able to rule out that it was not from him, or is it still up in the air that it could have been from him?
So the question is, how would I describe his state of mind in the manifesto that was described on the podcast? Have we been able to determine whether that was from him or not? And I'll answer the first part is I'm not comfortable giving you state of mind just yet. I certainly am leaning a particular way. But again, I'd like to be factual to you. I think when you
I like this guy.
read the documents that we're going to give you a link to at the end of this press conference, that you can go in and make some of your own assumptions about what that is. But I will tell you that part of my hesitation on that is I know that we have a lot more documents and number of things for us to uncover. And so I want to be able to provide to you only the factual information when I have it. And so I'm not going to opine on what I believe his state of mind was at that particular time. But certainly you can see some troubling aspects in his life as well. And I don't know if you want to address the second part, Spencer.
Yeah, so in terms of the so-called manifesto that's circulating
Yeah, that's
online,
interesting.
we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it, but we haven't conclusively proven that yet.
The manifesto talks about drones, the stuff we've been covering here on Nerd Report. Like everything we've been covering for the past month on Nerd Report was he was concerned about it. Do you guys remember we were covering the drones? Were you here for the drones? Let me know in the comments. That was written about Chinese balloon spying and all that stuff. Pretty crazy.
And that evidence relates to other evidence that we're finding that we're able to compare that lead us to believe it was in fact him who sent it.
Attack of the drones.
Is it J1?
Yes, J1 from 13. Do you have an update on the conditions of the other people who were injured?
The question is, do I have any updates on the conditions of the people who were injured? And I'm told that they're all relatively minor injuries, and they've all been released from the hospital.
Okay, there was a guy standing next to the Cybertruck with a water cooler. I'm trying to get him as a guest because I know someone that knows him. But he would have been gone if it wasn't for the Cybertruck. You know, the guy, he was like literally 4 feet away. Crazy, man.
Drummond with News 3. As you were showing us these experts, can you say why definitively he chose the Trump International Hotel and why he decided to come here to Las Vegas?
Yeah, the question is, with the excerpts that we showed, can we definitively identify why he chose the Trump Hotel Tower location as well as Las Vegas? And the answer is no. In fact, I think when you read through some of that, you might find that there were some other considerations as well for other locations. We can't verify all of that at this point, and so that's why I haven't talked about that publicly.
Do you know what other locations he was considering, and were they here in Nevada?
There was one location in Grand Canyon that was specifically talked about there, but we haven't been able to verify anything as well. All the way in the back.
She has a question.
Berenice Zuniga with Univision Las Vegas. Thank you for taking my question. In regards to what happened in New Orleans, I know that you guys mentioned it's a coincidence, but what main evidence makes it different to what occurred over there? That it's not being considered a terrorist attack here.
So the question is why don't we consider what happened in New Orleans and what happened in Las Vegas connected? And the simple answer to that is we don't find anything to actually point us in that direction. There are those coincidences that we have spoken very openly about, but we have not found throughout this entire investigation anything that ties the two attacks directly together. Go ahead.
All right, I'll ask again. Do you all think there's a link? I kind of don't. I don't. I think they're right, but I could be wrong. What do you all think in the comments?
I have a question. Were you guys able to identify the type of explosives that were in the vehicle and where he would be able to find those?
Okay.
So the question is, were we able to identify the types of explosives that were in the vehicle and where he was able to find those? There's a mortar type fireworks in the back of the vehicle, some camping fuel, And we do know that it looks like from that document that we're going to provide to you that he may have stopped outside of a location in New Mexico and obtained those fireworks legally. But that is another aspect of the investigation that continues.
Hi, Noble Brigham with the Review Journal.
I know.
Thanks for taking my question. We've heard that the suspect wasn't opposed to President-elect Trump. Do we know anything about what his political views were?
The question is that we know that we've said that he was not opposed, the suspect was not opposed to President-elect Trump, and do we know what his political views are or were? There's a variety of different reporting out there, Noble, on what that is and some of the people around him and what their particular political views were.
You know why they asked that question? Because the reporters and news outlets want to pin you, the people watching this, against each other. So they could blame a conservative, blame a Democrat, blame a liberal, blame a progressive, blame whatever, right? Like no one is happy with this. No side, only evil people would be happy with this. Okay? There you go. Kyle's MAGA. He says he's mega. He spelled it wrong. But they want to put people together. Kyle used to not be MAGA. Now he is. So thank you for seeing the light. Yeah. So that's why the question is, what side of the political spectrum was he? Dude, no one here that's normal on any side is happy with this guy doing what he did in front of any building. And that's why they want to report on it, so we fight on social media. So the public continues to be outraged. So you fight people. So you pick a side and you stop talking to your friends and family. So, but everyone's welcome on this channel, folks, as long as you're respectful. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I'm going to ask you all to please take this moment. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. I need 5 new subscribers. Make sure you are subscribed. We're almost at 69,000 people here. Almost, if we get 5 more subscribers, it elevate my voice, elevate your voice, and stuff. And we could have different ideas. I mean, Kyle's MAGA, other people are liberal, right? And we're good.
I think when you read some of these documents, you'll see that he actually calls it a stunt in one of these documents that we're going to release to you, that he was trying to get the attention of the American people because he was upset about a number of different things. But I'll let those writings speak for themselves. I'm not conclusively telling you anything about his political affiliations at this point, but I think that's more to come on that.
Doesn't matter.
Sir?
Everyone's opposed to it.
CBS News. Talk to us about you have an individual who is obviously struggling with mental health here, a member of the military service. There are
Kyle's MAGA, not MAGA? I don't know. Kyle, are you mega or MAGA? Mega Million? Sorry, I misread that. Must be another political party.
Maybe struggling with this. A lot of mental health issues here. When they read these letters that you're about to release, how do you quell other?
You know what? Sorry. Red or blue, they don't care about you. That is the fucking awesome rap, bro. That is perfect. Red or blue, they don't care about you. Could we get a shout out to Ray with a W? It's badass, bro. Red or blue, they don't care about you. That is true. Shelly, thanks for the super chat. The only link I see here is mental health. Yeah, you gotta be cuckoo for this. You gotta be cuckoo. But Shelly, we gotta also say that we also gotta keep it open that there's evil people out there that want to do harm to people. I don't know if this is the case. It sounds pretty cuckoo. But you know what, Shelly? Let's I want everybody to Thanks, Shelly, for keeping the stream on with her super chat and stuff. See if anybody wants to support the channel. You could super chat like Shelly. But meanwhile, fill the comments with hearts. All right, everybody here, fill the comments with hearts. We're going to continue this right now. Fill it for Shelly. Thank her for the beautiful donation right there. And it is, again, what we're trying to do here on Nerd Report is keep the conversation going. Like if we're left, right, MAGA, or even mega, like Kyle is. All right. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's both of them put together. You're welcome. As long as you're respectful, folks. That's what we want. Okay. All right. Oh, and subscribe. We need 5 more subscribers. Let's go. Make sure you're subscribed.
Who are struggling with the same from carrying out and seeing this as an inspiration? How do you quell the copycats out there?
Yeah. So the question is obviously there's mental health involved in this, as we've already talked about, and how do we quell the others that are similarly situated to him out there in America? And you know, I think Spencer rightly talked about this for a moment. Is what you can tell by looking at this, that PTSD from a highly decorated United States currently serving military individual, from what I'm told, was 5 tours of combat, obtained some of the highest awards you can get. It's not much different, quite frankly, than the reasoning why we started our wellness bureau here at Metro and taking care of the heart, mind, body, and soul of the people that are out there doing this work, because they're exposed to things, they see things, they hear things.
Folks, I am in Los Angeles and I'm hearing military helicopters over my studio. Like, man, right now as we speak. Like my entire studio shook. Yeah. Military helicopters over my studio in Los Angeles. All right. I don't know about 2025.
They feel things and they smell things that
You're in DC, there's military helicopters as well?
normal people don't have to do. And the heroes that are serving in the military and on the front lines of America's policing are challenged that way. And so I think, we need to really pay attention to those individuals, pay attention to what mental health in America looks like. And I think this is just one more incident that brings that to the forefront of where it is that we are in talking about these types of things. I'll take one more.
308P. Thanks for taking my question.
Sure.
Do you know why he chose a Cybertruck? Was he trying to send a message considering who the CEO is? And then just really quickly, could you confirm if the podcast you're talking about is the Sean Ryan podcast? I don't want to
The Sean what?
Is it the Sean Ryan podcast?
Is that the yeah? So can I tell you why he chose the Cybertruck? Is the question, the first question?
Man, so the podcaster is getting a shout out, man. Jeez.
No, not really. I haven't been able to find anything definitive about it. Secondly, is it the Sean Ryan podcast? And yeah, that's the podcast that I'm referring to. And I'm sorry, there was one more hand over here that go ahead.
Hi, Tannenbaum, Channel 13 here in Las Vegas.
Hi.
Is there been any more speculation, more understanding on why he chose the route that he chose? Obviously, coming from Colorado, you can go through Utah. That's a more common way to hit the 15. Any more understanding when we're thinking about all the different potential sites that he could have chosen for this?
So the question is do we know why he chose the route that he chose? I don't think we can tell you we know why he chose it, but I can tell you that there's some writings in those documents that we're going to release to you that he mentioned going to the border as well as going to the Grand Canyon. And so we continue to look through all of the available evidence to help us answer that question better. And with that, I'd just like to, again, thank you all for the great work you're doing in helping us get this story out. And obviously, as we get additional information, we'll push it out to you. Thank you very much.
So I'm impressed with these guys. I'm impressed with these guys. I like what they're doing. I think they've done a really good job so far. All right. They've done a really good job so far, but this, man. So I'm just going to show you this because I don't know if I could play it even though this is on YouTube. But someone may have planted a pipe, you know what? Pipe, you know what? Near the Capitol. And there's some worries about that. Of course there needs to be, but and there's a press conference from Washington, I believe. I'm going to play it for you. Right there. I could play it, Jules? How could I play it? What am I doing, Jules? Sorry. This guy? Yeah, a pipe being near the Capitol. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, this is look, folks, I'm juggling. Oh, wow. So this is what I see. Reward 500,000. Call with any information. 1-800-CALL FBI. Is this old? I don't know. Is this old? Maybe it is. Let me see. Maybe you're right. When was this posted? No, it was posted today. January 2nd. Oh, no, yesterday. Yeah, it was posted yesterday. Yesterday isn't old, man. Yesterday is not old. I don't think so. So let's check out this press conference from Washington. Let me know if you could hear this. Could you all hear that before I continue playing it? Yay or nay? Let me know if you could hear it. No? Okay, let me redo that. As I get this video ready, folks, we're almost at 69,000 subs. Make sure you are subscribed. Let's get 5 more subs as I say this. And let me know if you are a new subscriber in the comments so we could welcome you.
Good morning. I am Chief Pamela A. Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department here in Washington, D.C. And I'm joined today by members of the district's public safety team, as well as the counterparts from the United States Secret Service, the FBI, United States Capitol Police, the D.C. National Guard, and the Department of Defense.
This is getting ready for Monday, I believe. MS, thanks for subscribing. Kathleen, thanks for subscribing. Who else is subscribed?
We're here today to discuss the security preparations for the upcoming counting and certification of the electoral votes during a joint session of Congress on January 6th and the upcoming state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter. Before we get into the details of the conference, please allow me to speak very briefly on the recent events that occurred across the country earlier this week. Since the incidents, we have begun actively working with our local, federal, and state partners to share intelligence and to provide support for the ongoing investigation.
Welcome, Lisa.
As of this moment, there are no credible known threats here in the District of Columbia, but out of an abundance of caution, I have heightened our security postures across the city in light of the recent events. Members of the community will notice an increased presence of police officers throughout the district. I want to assure our community that whenever a significant event occurs, such as what happened on New Year's Day, we closely monitor the incident and immediately began engaging with intelligence communities, and we take an additional step to reevaluate our security posture to ensure the safety of our residents, businesses, as well as our visitors. And now looking ahead to Monday, January 6th, the counting and certification of the electoral votes at the United States Capitol has been.
Folks, we're going to be live for this. Do you want me to cover this on Monday? And there's going to be probably press everywhere. So I'm going to have to wake up very, very early. Do you want me to cover this, the certification? Welcome all the new subscribers, by the way. James says yes. Tammy says yes. Will you come here? Please cover it. And then the good part is, again, I will highlight your comments and we'll keep the conversation going. If you want me to cover this, subscribe, show me your interest. Subscribe right now. Get us to 69,000.
Been designated as a national special security event that is led by the United States Secret Service. This event brings together coordination and participation from all levels of government, as well as from our local, state, and federal public safety partners. To our residents and businesses, most of the impact of this event will be felt around the U.S. Capitol on Monday. This will also include road closures, which Capitol Police will provide more details shortly during this conference. And following the proceedings at the U.S. Capitol on Monday, January 6th,
there's going to be a lot of closures, man. You're probably not going to be able to get near. Is anyone going just to witness it? I know there's a lot of people going over there. I am not, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of security there, man. Like big time. By the way, once again, if you want me to cover this on Monday, it's the certification for the election on Monday. Subscribe to the channel right now if you want me to cover it.
the state funeral events to honor former President Carter will be held here in Washington, D.C. between Tuesday, January 7th and Thursday, January 9th. President Carter's state funeral also has been designated as an NSSE, and the United States Secret Service is the lead law enforcement agency for this event. The public will have an opportunity to pay their final respects during a ceremony at the Naval Memorial and a procession to the U.S. Capitol on Tuesday, which will be followed by the former president lying in state in the Capitol Rotunda on Tuesday evening and Wednesday. And on Thursday, former President Carter's funeral service will be held at the Washington National Cathedral. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Special Agent in Charge, Matt McCool, from the U.S. Secret Service Washington Field Office to discuss the security plans for U.S. Secret Service.
Shelly already provided the coffee for Monday with the super chat. If you want to provide the donuts, you could send another super chat. I have coffee and donuts here. I'll wake up early and cover this. If there is anything to cover, there should be. Once again, if you want me to cover this, you got to subscribe right now. Subscribe. We're getting to 69,000. You want me to cover the January 6th certification? Subscribe.
Good morning. I want to thank Chief Pamela Smith of the Metropolitan Police Department, Chief Tom Manger in the Capitol Police, Assistant Director in Charge David Sundberg of the FBI's Washington Field Office, and all of our partners you see up here today. The partnerships within the National Capital Region have never been stronger. Ensuring public safety during high-profile events is truly a team effort. My name is Matt McCool. I am the Special Agent in Charge of the Secret Service's Washington Field Office. We are here today to discuss the public safety plans for the 2025 counting and certification of electoral votes and the state funeral of former President Carter. It was an honor and a privilege to serve President Carter, and the Secret Service joins the nation in mourning his passing. For just over 48 years, our agency stood watch over the late president, who was the longest-standing protectee in the agency's history. In my previous position, I was responsible for the advanced security planning for several of President Carter's peacekeeping missions to the Middle East. Serving the 39th president in this capacity remains among the highlights of my career. In a final act of service, President Carter's detail agents will serve as pallbearers, as they did for former First Lady Rosalind Carter. The Department of Homeland Security has pre-designated state funerals in Washington, D.C. as national special security events. This designation allows the federal government, along with our state and local partners, to use significant resources to implement a comprehensive security
Yes, they
plan.
verify the votes.
The Secret Service authors this security
people
plan
will go outside and
coordinates assets with many of the public safety partners you see here today, and others using the whole of government approach. State funerals require notable coordination with our Department of Defense counterparts. Since our agency was authorized to provide these type of security plannings in May of 1998, there have been 80 NSSEs. over half of those NSSCs have been in the NCR. So the Washington, D.C. area is well-versed in these high-profile events. Still, back-to-back NSSCs are a unique situation. The Secret Service will bring in agents and other specialists from field offices across the country to supplement our staffing. A multitude of seen and unseen security measures will operate in tandem to ensure a comprehensive and seamless security plan comes to fruition. The 2025 counting and certification of electoral votes starts this busy period on Monday, January 6th. This is the first time the NSSC designation has been granted for an election certification. Chief Manger will provide the bulk of the details around securing this event, which will look and feel like a State of the Union address for those who live and work in Washington, D.C. President Carter's funeral ceremony will immediately follow after 3 days of events in Georgia. The late president will arrive at Joint Base Andrews in the afternoon of Tuesday, January 7th. The funeral procession will travel to the Naval Memorial and then to the U.S. Capitol. Chief Smith will offer details on traffic implication and other regional impacts. Meanwhile, I advise everyone that the Secret Service will use drones as part of our comprehensive security plan. Do not be alarmed if you see these assets during the upcoming events or training in the days ahead.
See that he has to warn everybody. If you see drones, don't be alarmed.
President Carter will lay in state in the Capitol on Wednesday, January 8th, and members of Congress and the public will be able to pay their respects. The ceremony will move to the Washington National Cathedral on the morning of Thursday, January 9th for a funeral service before departing that afternoon to Georgia for final internment.
Thank you very much. Sibuhan? Is that the way you pronounce your name? I'm sorry if I messed it up. Siob Han Early. Is that right? Buy something healthy, Lewis, for Monday. Forget donuts. Keep up the good work. Man, but donuts feel healthy, right? Donuts do feel. By the way, let's get some hearts up for Sibuhan. I'll try to get something healthy for you, man. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. Hearts for you for that super chat. Folks, if you want to support the channel, you could send in a super chat, Cash App, or just super sticker. But the most important thing you could do is hit the like button. Hit the like button, free. Vegan donuts. And also, you want me to keep covering this? If you like my coverage, hopefully I earned your subscription. We're almost at 69,000 subs. I don't want to be in the 60s anymore. That's why I keep asking. We want to beat that algorithm. Subscribe. If you like independent content creators, subscribe. There's a button on the top right-hand corner. If you like your voice being elevated, subscribe. If you want me to cover this on Monday, the January 6th certification of the votes, subscribe right now. Thank you. And at least 5 people should.
With all NSSCs, the Secret Service will work closely with our partners to keep everyone safe next week. We further aim to minimize disruptions for those living, working, and visiting the NCR to the greatest extent possible. We will provide further details about the upcoming inauguration at a later date. The Secret Service truly appreciates your patience and understanding during this eventful time. Our agents and our partners are working diligently to keep everyone safe. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Chief Manger of the United States Capitol Police. Thank you.
The pipe B, I don't know if that was from last year or yesterday. So I apologize if I played that wrong. And then Good Morning UFO is asking, hi friend, did you see the email Sean Ryan sent from the Boom that drones are the Chinese and the Chinese? Yeah, I saw that. I did see his manifesto. I did see it. He's talking about aliens and everything. I'll break it down later. I'm just like, it was last year. I apologize if I got the wrong time in there. Wrong video, wrong date.
Thank you, Matt. Chief Tom Manger, United States Capitol Police. As our nation struggles to maintain a sense of safety in light of the recent mass killings and acts of terrorism, the eyes of the world will be on the United States Capitol to see what happens here on January 6th.
You want me to cover it? Subscribe, hit the like.
We're living in a time of heightened threat environment toward government and elected officials.
Thank you, Aqua Girl.
Our nation's capital is prepared to ensure that the legislative process will proceed without disruption and our government will have a peaceful transfer of power. The United States Capitol Police are better staffed, better trained, better equipped than ever before to protect our Capitol and to protect our Congress. 4 years ago, the Office of the Inspector General issued over a dozen after-action reports containing 103 recommendations. We have completed every single one of those recommendations. Today, our planning, our preparation, our intelligence, our training, our equipment are all exactly where they need to be. And as indicated by all of the people here, this has been and continues to be a team effort. Dozens of public safety agencies will be in Washington, D.C. over the next few days to help us keep our community and the government safe. The cooperation among the allied law enforcement agencies in this region is as good as it gets anywhere in this country. Now I'll turn it over to Assistant Director in Charge, Dave Sundberg of the FBI.
Thank you, Chief Manger. Good morning. I'm Dave Sundberg, Assistant Director in Charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to discuss the FBI's partnerships with federal and local agencies to prepare for the upcoming national special security events here in the District of Columbia. For these events, the FBI has the lead federal law enforcement responsibility for crisis management,
Melissa, you're
response
right.
to terrorist threats, and intelligence. Leading up to and during these events, FBI intelligence analysts have been and will continue to assess and share event-related intelligence with all of our partners. At this time, we are not tracking any credible or specific threats associated with these events. That being said, we are certainly operating in a heightened threat environment, especially given the incidents in both New Orleans and in Las Vegas on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, we have no information indicating a local threat associated with either of those incidents. We will continue to work closely with our partners to share information and identify and disrupt any threats that may emerge. As always, we remind the public to remain vigilant and to report any suspicious activity to law enforcement. We look forward to working with our partners to ensure that these events are held both safely and securely. Thank you.
All right. So this is so people remain calm during these difficult times, because there's been a lot of stuff going on, man. We even had an airplane accident right there on Fullerton, right? Oh, wow. There's a lot of things that have gone on. What do you all think of this press conference? Is it making you feel more at ease?
Before we get into questions, certainly want to thank Assistant Director in
Press
Charge
is about to ask
Sundberg,
questions. Oh boy.
and the rest of my partners here who have explained kind of sort of what the posture will be here in the District of Columbia. What I do know is that events like these require detailed planning, close collaboration, and constant communication with our law enforcement partners. And I want to thank each of our partners who are standing here, my colleagues today, for their continued partnership of the Metropolitan Police Department. And as we've stated, beginning Sunday morning, the Metropolitan Police Department will go into full activation. This activation positions additional officers with specialized training that can be deployed anywhere in the district at a moment's notice, while ensuring that our ability to respond to routine calls for police service will continue across our city. We are committed to upholding the right to peacefully assemble and protest here in our city. However, as I've stated before, when we have special events, and I want to be very clear that we will not tolerate any violence, rioting, destruction of property, or any behavior that threatens the safety and security of our city. This message extends to anyone traveling to the district over the next 3 weeks. We welcome visitors to come and experience what this incredible city has to offer, but those who are intentional on unlawful activity should know that there will be consequences. With all of the events scheduled for next week, there will be road closures around the U.S. Capitol, the Navy Memorial, and the National Cathedral. We are asking our community to be patient, plan ahead, and give yourself extra time. We also encourage you to consider utilizing our Metro Transit system. We have a full list of road closures, maps, and additional information regarding the security of these events online at nsse.dc.gov. It is available for you to view at this moment. Thank you all for being here today. We will open up the floor for any questions.
All right, questions. Here they come. Who's ready?
Hi, Chief. Michelle Marsh from 7 News. I first want to thank you all for the hard work that you're doing. You mentioned New Orleans, and that is a case of a single person who was self-radicalized, someone who did their own planning. Can you tell us, how do you prepare for someone who is hell-bent on carnage?
Well, I think what we all do as law enforcement partners, I think
But that guy was posting on the internet. How there's no red flags? You know what I mean? A lot of creators here on YouTube barely sneeze and they get a strike for it. This guy was like doing radical videos on the internet and nothing happened.
every single day. And I think I shared earlier, if not weekly, on a bi-weekly basis, we are always talking about incident that could potentially happen here in the city. And what we do, and what I do know, is that we're all very well-trained professionals in this space. And we also host a lot of intentional special events across the city year in and year out. And I'm very confident in the team that I have standing alongside me. Whenever we have any events, we know how to come together and solve those issues. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the interesting confluence of two back-to-back special security events, but it's really three, right? With the inauguration rolling right into this.
That is correct.
Can you speak to sort of is there any historical precedent for this many in this short of a time, and what does that do to, resources, personnel, the level of coordination that's needed?
Well, you already know what it does to resources and personnel whenever we have these significant events. If you think back to what occurred in July 4th, we had the NATO summit, and then we had the Prime Minister of Israel who visited our city. And clearly the same team that you see standing here today, we all came together, we met, we had our rock drills or rehearsal of concept drills to ensure that we are all working very collaboratively in this space. When you talk about the number of personnel or resources that we have available, specifically at the Metropolitan Police Department, we leverage that with the technology. As you heard, Special Agent McCool talked about drones and different apparatus that we will continue to use in order to have eyes and ears across our city.
Who's going to be called? They're going to be calling they're going to be calling the authorities. Drones are all over Washington. What do you guys think? Do you think the drone story is going to rise again?
These three
guys' manifesto apparently mentioned drones.
Particular events, we will continue to do the same in that space.
Have you had 3 national special security events in 1 month before? It has happened, or?
Well, I will turn that over to Special Agent McCool, Secret Service, and he may be able to address that for you.
No, that has never happened before. We have 3 NSSCs over a 15-day period. But what I will tell you is we're flexible, we're adaptable. We've been working on these events for, in some cases, years and then months, definitely over several months for all of them. So we're going to be prepared. The team is flexible, and so we're going to get it done.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. Speaking of personnel, you had asked for 4,000 additional troops, for additional officers from across the country. I was wondering, I know you hit that goal, given that there's so much events that's happening in the district, are you adding to that goal and maybe asking for additional officers? And in addition to that, National Guard, has that been approved and gone through?
So let me answer your first question. You always ask 2 questions every time I'm up. So the first question is that we are close to the 4,000 additional resources that we've asked for across the United States, and we're very happy for that. And we also thank those law enforcement agencies who have actually been reaching out to ask us if they could provide assistance. And so we're certainly happy for that. When it comes to the number of resources that we have, we're not asking for any additional. We've been planning for this inauguration since 4 years prior, and we're at that point right now. And again, we will be prepared, we'll be flexible, and we will be adaptable to anything that may occur in our city. You forgot about the National Guard. Hold. Yes.
Thank you. very proud to be with you this morning to talk about the National Guard and the support that we're giving to our federal and district law enforcement partners. We do have approved requests for assistance to support the certification. We will have 500 soldiers on standby for that mission. We also have approved requests for the state funeral coming up. We'll have liaison officers, escort
Folks, we
officers
have
for the
a
government
Menendez Brothers press conference coming up. Who's interested in that?
for that particular event. And we're currently pending approval for the third NSSC, the presidential inauguration. The current number right now is 7,800 soldiers and airmen that we'll be bringing in.
4 years ago, they did a lot of traffic. Is that the plan to pretty much oversee traffic management?
Yeah, all of our, well, with respect to the presidential inauguration, that is true. We will be providing outer and inner perimeter security support to both Capitol Police, MPD, and Secret Service as well. So.
Sir, can you say the number?
If you're interested in the Menendez Brothers press conference,
yeah, currently pending the number is 7,800 is the current request.
Let me know in the comments.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Major General John
Shelley wants
Antoni,
I'm going to do it for Shelley. Just for Shelley. Whoa, I'm going to fall again?
Brad Bell with Channel 7. So I don't know who wants to take this one, perhaps Chief Manger.
Shelley.
Look, obviously the political dynamic is.
Shelley is a big supporter, and everyone here is a big supporter as well. So, but Shelley said it, and I don't know, I just have to do it. Okay, so as soon as that starts, I will switch over to it. So there's no need to switch the dial, folks. And as a bonus, I have a crazy video with Ice-T and a cop interaction, but you got to subscribe to the channel right now. If you subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments. We could welcome you. New subscribers, over 100 right now. Give us, let us know in the comments, and we will welcome you.
It always ends with, but there's always the lone wolf, always the person who's operating by themselves, and you have no warning about those individuals. That's what occurred in this past few days. These were folks that were by themselves. There was no way for anybody to know about what they were planning. So we need to be prepared for that as much as we need to be prepared for anything. There are several permitted demonstrations. There's some chatter about some other folks,
all the news today,
conspiracy
folks.
theorists.
Okay, listen, I am so tired. I want to. Melissa, I do want to. I'll be more prepared because I'm finally getting views, folks, and that motivates me. There's a little bit of an algorithm thing. I'll bring you the news and I'll bring the discussion, but I need you guys keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. But man, I'm tired right now, but I'm going to keep going. We'll keep going.
Talking about, well, if this happens, we need to be at the Capitol, those kinds of things. But again, no indication that that hotels are filling up with these people, that these people are traveling to DC. So, but there's the threat environment is heightened at a level that all of us are on high alert. All of us are being very proactive in terms of the preventive measures that we're putting into place. We do, which again, that's part of the layered security that we have for the Capitol.
There are two quick questions. How long will the fencing stay up around the Capitol? Will that stay up through past January 20, or when do you expect that?
It'll stay up through the inauguration.
And then for the visitation, the viewing for President Carter and the weather that might be impacting that, can you just tell people what they might expect if there would be long lines that stretch out into the street and outside of the Capitol, how you'll be preparing for weather for that?
So typically there are long lines for the state funerals. Folks do queue up outside, and they should expect to be able to deal with the elements. And if anybody here can answer about how to, restore order when this city gets 5 to 8 inches of snow, then I'd like to hear the answer to that.
I got a question. So yesterday we saw a guy who made a mistake about where to park, right? He's probably used to driving right up to the gear that he's working on, and he was in handcuffs for quite some time, and he's facing a charge. what do you say to those who are going to come to town and maybe disobey an order? You've got multiple messages. You're asking people to be vigilant. What are messages should be sent out there?
Well, first message is don't drive on the sidewalk.
Don't drive I agree. Don't drive erratically
on Capitol grounds unless you're given permission to do that.
So weird.
We need to be vigilant. And when our officers were less than a minute in observing this individual driving on the sidewalk and having him in handcuffs. We had no idea what all that was about. There were people on the sidewalk. And
right.
so
thank you very much.
Those are the kinds of things that all of us are on alert
I
for.
wanted to give you a
And
quick
so
update on
people
the
can expect a
preparation
quick
that I've
reaction from
taken
law
to
enforcement
deal
if they're
with
engaging in concerning behavior.
All right, folks, this is what
Good
we're
morning.
going to do.
Thanks for taking our questions.
This is what we're going to do, folks. Are you ready? We're going to be I'm going to start a new live. You all are going to be redirected to that live. If not, you go on YouTube, you search Nerd Report, and let me make sure everything's good here. And I will be running the Menendez brothers press conference that's happening right now. Are you all ready? Make sure to subscribe. Give me 1 second, so make sure it redirects. Are you all ready? Make sure to subscribe. So it redirects. It'll be a completely different video. So when this video ends, head over to that one. It's gonna be on Nerd Report. It's very easy to find. All right. So right now, subscribe. Head over there. Actually, I'm gonna give you the link in the comments. I'm gonna give you the link in the comments, and we're gonna find out if the Menendez brothers are free or not right now, or what's gonna happen. The link's in the comments. Is it working? Head over there. Is the link working? Yeah or nay? All right. All right, we're stopped at Nerd Out. Head over there right now. Thank you.